In the vortex of the unburnt flame where ashes are scattered in the air, the outlines are infinitely untied and finitely bound together. Fragments of memory dissolve in the void, playing in the palm of the wind, still in the process of learning. There is no beginning and no end, and those who once had a form once had a name, and now both name and form are left to the intention of the wind. When the residue of heat left behind in the swaying of time caresses my cheeks sweetly, my consciousness assimilates with the fire, and I burn myself with an unquenchable emotion. This ecstasy is endless, like a spark blooming in the space between death and life, quiet yet certain. The ashes are the residue of what has burned away, or the foundation of a beginning. The wind picks them up and draws countless perpetual returns. Between extinction and creation, drifting particles interact with each other in a body that transcends time. The material that was once filled with fire dances lightly as if it has forgotten its past, yet still holds the heat before it burns out. The blackened memories are tossed about by the currents of the wind, intertwined with a certain law, impregnated with a momentary brilliance, and then crumbling down again. A reincarnation without reincarnation. There is neither death nor life. There is only the repeated interplay of falling and floating. Or if consciousness resides in each particle of ash, the remnants that have burned out will give birth to a new fire. Then they melt together in the wind and disappear as a nameless piece of dust. Ecstasy exists in the moment and drifts forever. The dancing ashes are the unfinished embers that prove that the fire has burned out. The boundary between death and life wavers each time the wind whips up the ashes. The ashes do not know when they will fall, they just continue to dance. Trapped in the semi-permanent circle of time, they continue to dance and they continue to sway. The irony is that something that once had form has lost its name, has deceived gravity, and drifts in the name of freedom. No, it is an ecstasy akin to rapture. Shedding its form, it surrenders even cause and effect to the wind. What is left behind in the burnt-out thing? Memory, will, or just nothingness? The ashes simply dance, letting themselves be carried away to the ecstasy of decay and rebirth. The ashes forget gravity, and the fine grains of dust dancing in the wind are the beginning dust of the residue of death. In the space where the burnt-out remains continue to dance, the past and future blur into the trajectory of reincarnation. At the moment when the flames consume life, the ashes rejoice. It breaks free from the spell of matter and is released into a state of freedom that has neither name nor form. The former existence is transformed into an indescribable pleasure of movement and, having lost sight of its own boundaries, disappears into the atmosphere as countless minute winds. There is an eternity of Buto that transcends even decay. The formless laughs off the destiny to perish because it has form. The ashes know this. There is a pleasure that only the burnt-out can reach. Outside of samsara, the ashes still dance. Embraced by the wind, they lose their contours, forgetting their former form. Burnt-out memories become reverberations, falling silently. It is not annihilation but rearrangement. It is not oblivion but reincarnation. But the dance does not end. Ashes crumble, ashes gather, and when a new wind blows, they rise again. If existence is nothing but ashes, it has neither beginning nor end. Call it emptiness or eternity. The ashes, which are not allowed to burn out, whirl around and whisper in silence, even on a windless night, wearing only the reverberations of past flames, oblivious to their own origins. The ashes are no longer ashes. They are the remains of things that burned, and at the same time they are things that refuse to burn. Touch it and it melts at your fingertips, but hold it in your hand and it scatters and loses its form. They do not reside in the hands of those who cling to them, and only those who drift know what they look like. But to continue to dance may be their only salvation. They hold the memory of the flame, but it no longer burns, and even the wind is deceived, dissolving into emptiness. Knowing that time is finite, people are afraid of returning to nothingness like ashes. But if nothingness continues to dance, it is an endless pleasure. The semi-permanent ashes whisper quietly. To burn up is not to disappear. Dust dances, mingles, and eventually transforms into a new being. As long as the melody of the ashes does not disappear, the ultimate will continue to be there.